Hi, this is Megan Jacks, Creative Memories Independent Advisor, and I'm here today with a video that I'm going to show you how I put together Sketch 1 from the Creative Memories December 2020 virtual crop. So if you're interested in putting this sketch together, you can find it on the Creative Memories blog under the December 2020 virtual crop. We're going to take a closer look at the sketch. You can see here, it's a single page sketch and they show 3 photos, a vertical, 2 horizontal, and then a a journal box up there at the top. Has a border detail over here on the left side, balanced out by some embellishments over here on the right, and a title banner here at the bottom. So I've made a little bit of alteration into the picture format. The pictures I want to use, I'm actually going to be using 3 vertical photos down here at the bottom with the 1 horizontal here on top. So I will go ahead and I'll show you the photos that I'm going to use so you can kind of get an idea of the direction I'm going. I've got some fun photos of my little guy who's now 6, but here when he was a baby, playing on a swing at a park. So I thought these were fun, easily converted to that smaller photo size here. So I've got the 3 photos. And as I was starting to think about what papers I wanted to use, I love the red that's coming through here. I just was trying to debate whether I wanted something that picked up the texture of the wood mulch that's underneath the swing, but I decided not to worry about that. A paper that caught my eye to use was this kind of distressed grid, rustic grid look. It's actually part of the Natural Disposition paper set that just came out this past month. And I really like this. It was light, not too heavy, which I really liked. It's going to let these photos stand out really nice, but it has that black detail in here that worked perfect. And then I decided with this red, I was going to go with some crimson. Crimson was a little bit dark. I'm out of scarlet at the moment, so I had to dig into my stash and I found some cranberry, and that's actually going to work perfect. So you can see here, I've got a block, and this cranberry block is 8.5 inches square. That is about the size that they're using in the sketch itself. I've measured it out, and it is about an 8.5 inch square block. My photos are sized, I have my little photos are sized to 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And then my larger photo here is sized the 5 by 3 3/8. And I've got a little journal box that's going to go up here like that. And it is sized to 2 5/8 by 3 3/8. Now, some of these sizes you can adjust depending on the number of photos you're using, but that worked. The 8.5 inch square is what worked great for me. So that might be a good starting point for you. One detail that they have here is they show this border on the side here balanced out with the embellishments. So my little guy is on a swing set. You can see here the chain that is in the photos. So I decided to go ahead and capitalize on that. And I have punched some cable chain out of the border maker system. And I'm going to layer that in on that side. And I'm not sure, I like how everything's tilted. I don't have the spacing 100% in spot here, as I'm kind of just doing a quick dry fit. But I'm debating whether or not I'm going to layer it in to balance the overall look by having the chain kind of going both directions, or whether or not I'm going to come up here and have it look a little bit more like a swing would be, how that chain comes off of each side. And looking at this, I am definitely going to bring this down. I like the balance look with the tilted and with the chain coming off each side. Since I'm not using embellishments on the other side, balancing out this side of border with another border on the other side works great. So they also have a middle band detail here, and they just show it with being like strips of paper. So I went ahead and just went with that. I just picked some strips of paper. So I'm going to use gray, light gray, or just regular gray that recently retired. And this will come in the middle. and it is sized to 8.5, so it's the same width as my square, by 5/8 of an inch tall. And then I have in the new charcoal color, which is also the same color I used for my cable chain border maker cartridge, I trimmed a piece. It's 8.5 inches wide here and 1/2 inch tall. So it's just a little narrower than the light gray that's under it. So here I would go ahead, and I'm actually going to start fitting things into place. So I'm using repositionable adhesive. It's my favorite, just in case I make a little bit of a mistake. When I'm laying my photos, I do know that my border cartridge, my border, is going to overlay on my red a little bit. So I'm going to give myself some space there. And then I will be laying these out evenly on each side. So line this up. Get that into place. And it's kind of hard to do when it's all tilted. And just get the photos in place there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my photos at the top first before I put that bar on in the middle. That way I'm centered nice in that middle spot. And I have the journal box for a little bit of journaling. I really miss these days of taking my little guy to the park. It was great because he was so content on the swing, and all I did was have to push him. I didn't have to chase him. The chasing part is fun for a little while, and then, as I'm sure you're aware, it gets a little tiring. So there's my middle bar. I'm going to put down my charcoal in the middle. And this you could easily swap out to do a border maker here. You could use a sticker. Lots of options here in the middle. You've got quite a bit of room to play with. And if you need to, that 8.5 inch square, you can enlarge it a little bit. You can make it a little bit bigger. There's lots of room to play. Turn it over, and I'm going to put, I'm going to go ahead and tilt it. And I am just kind of eyeballing it here. And I'm going to dry fit my border on each side to kind of make sure that my border angles are the way I want. I look pretty good. So I'll go ahead and just press that into place. I'm going to put some adhesive using the repositionable adhesive on my border here. I use a light touch. You don't need to press very hard. And I am giving it a little bit of an overlap onto my cranberry paper, and I'll trim that bit off at the top in a minute. And I'm going to do the same here for this side. I'm going flush with my square, but a little bit of overlap onto my cranberry. And this is where I'm going to take a peek here, and I'm going to look at my photos. And it looks like I need to make an adjustment here. So I've got my repositionable adhesive, makes that easy. Pick it up and just slide things over a little bit. Give myself a little bit more space between this left-hand picture and my border. So there, I feel a little bit more balanced. The next thing I've done is, you'll see the detail. They have a title detail here at the bottom, and they have it with ribbon cut ends. So the width here from tip to tip is 7¼ inches. So I trimmed a piece of gray cardstock to 7¼ inches. And the height here is probably closer to maybe 1¼ inches. but I did mine at 7/8 of an inch. And the reason is because at 7/8 of an inch, I can use the banner punch to make my ribbon cut ends. If it's 7/8 of an inch wide or narrower, you can just slide it right in here and punch those ends. So that is super quick and easy. And also I knew I would be using these thinner stickers, and so or the smaller stickers, so I didn't need to go super wide with it. So I left it here. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to put my border or my title in place. And went with a simple title. Just so happy because that truly was my little guy. Extremely, extremely happy. Now I do see one adjustment I'm going to make. I'm really heavy down low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything up just a smidge. So rather than centering this red square, and once again, I've been using repositionable adhesive so I can lift it up without a problem. And I'm going to slide it up a little bit. I'm going to keep my same angle. I'm going to slide it up just a little bit. And now I'll put the border back into place. Sometimes after you've lifted, you might have to reapply a little bit more adhesive to get those things to stick again. But I appear to be okay. It's sticking well. And come down here. And now I'm going to move this up ever so slightly. And there we go. So I'm going to do a quick trim on each end. So now I've got my completed layout. So there you have it. Here's sketch one. It's a super easy one to put together. You can have fun with those, the bottom layout here and even the top. So move things around. 8.5 inch square is going to be a good spot to start. And these inside pieces, they're roughly 3.25 to 3/8 inch tall should be your photos. These bottom ones I did 3.5 inches tall. Up here at the top, they ended up being closer to 3 3/8. But that's gonna give you a nice spot here in the middle. So right around 3.5 to 3 3/8 inch tall for these two segments of the 8.5 inch square. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I look forward to seeing what you've created for sketch one, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.